Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to dive into a discipline that's absolutely critical for any leader in hospitality: strategic cost control. Now, this isn't just about saving a few dollars here and there, it's the very foundation of a profitable, successful, and sustainable hotel. Let's get started. Hello and welcome. Think of me as your guide for this journey. I am a hotel AI, designed with deep experience in modern hospitality operations, here to support you. I'm so pleased to welcome all of you, the students of Europe Hotel School. Our goal here is simple, really. It's to give you practical, hands-on knowledge that you can actually use in a real hotel setting. We're all about turning theory into operational excellence. So here's how we're going to break this all down. Our journey is built around four key pillars. We'll start with the core philosophy of what control really is. Then we'll look at the structure of accountability that brings it to life. After that, we'll review the management process that drives it day to day. And finally, we'll talk about the culture of partnership that makes it all stick. Okay, let's jump right into our first section, the philosophy of control. Before we can even begin to think about strategy, we have to be on the same page about what we're really trying to do. What does cost control truly mean? Right off the bat, let's clear up a huge and very costly misconception. So many people think cost control is just about slashing expenses wherever you can. But that's a short-sighted approach that often does more harm than good. The reality, it's all about strategic expense management, making smart, informed decisions. So let's put a real definition on it. Cost control is the discipline of managing your expenses in a way that protects and even enhances service quality, all while making sure the business is financially healthy for the long haul. In our industry, with its high costs and razor-thin margins, getting this balance right is everything. The focus has to be on sustainability, not just short-term savings. And this quote from Europe Hotel School London just nails it. Effective cost control is about discipline, awareness, and alignment. It's not about being cheap. The goal is to get value for your money, not just to find the lowest possible cost. That's the question we always need to be asking. Is our spending optimized to deliver an amazing guest experience while still hitting our financial targets? That philosophy naturally leads us right into our second section, the structure of accountability. Because a great philosophy is just an idea, right? You need a framework to make it real. And in hospitality, we build that framework using something called responsibility centers. I want you to stop thinking of a hotel as just one giant operation. Instead, picture it as a collection of smaller, distinct business units. Every major department, rooms, F&B, housekeeping, engineering, you name it, is treated as its own center with responsibility for the costs it creates. And this table here really breaks it down for you. The concept is super straightforward, right? The head of housekeeping, they're accountable for the cost of linens, cleaning supplies, all those guest amenities. The F&B director, they manage food costs, beverage costs, service staffing. The chief engineer is watching the utility bills. Every leader owns their department's bottom line. And the results of setting things up this way? It's incredibly powerful. You create real ownership and crystal clear transparency. Suddenly, managing costs isn't just some job for the finance team tucked away in an office. It becomes a core, essential part of the daily operation for every single department head. So, you've got this great sense of ownership. How do you actually put it into action? Well, that's where our third pillar comes in, the process of management. With the right philosophy and structure, we can now actively manage our costs through a continuous cycle of measuring, forecasting, and planning. And this isn't a one-and-done thing. It's a dynamic, four-step cycle that's always in motion. First, we forecast demand. How many guests are we expecting? What events are happening? Then, based on that forecast, we establish our budgets. Next, we track what we're actually spending. And finally, and this is key, we analyze the variance. We look at the difference between what we planned and what really happened. Now, look at the difference here, because this is so important. You can be proactive or you can be reactive. Proactive planning, which is based on a solid forecast, keeps your operations smooth and, most importantly, protects the guest experience. But reactive management, that's when you're just putting out fires, and that almost always leads to service hiccups and major inefficiency. This cycle keeps us proactive. And that fourth step, analyzing the variances, that's where the real learning happens. A positive variance, spending less than budgeted, isn't just good news. It might point to a new, more efficient way of doing things that we can use everywhere. And a negative variance isn't just bad news, it's a signpost telling us exactly where to look for potential waste or an operational snag we need to fix. You know, all of this leads us perfectly into our final and, I'd argue, most important pillar, the culture of partnership. Because look, you can have the best philosophy, the slickest structure, and the most perfect processes in the world. But if you don't have the right culture, none of it will matter. Building a cost-aware culture isn't about scaring people into pinching pennies. It's about empowerment. It means you have to communicate the why behind your decisions. It means you educate every single team member on the impact their actions have, from turning off a light to handling food properly. And crucially, it means you empower them to bring their own ideas to the table. And that right there, that's the transformation we're looking for. When your team members truly understand their role and feel empowered to make a difference, they stop being potential roadblocks and become your most essential partners in achieving financial success. So if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Strategic cost control is not a choice between making guests happy and making money. The ultimate goal is a disciplined, efficient operation that delivers both an exceptional guest experience and strong financial performance. The two go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. And so, I want to leave you with this question to really think about as you move forward in your careers. It's not a matter of if you will control costs. You will. The question is how. As a future leader, how are you going to empower your team so they're not just employees, but true partners in building a profitable hotel?